Did you see LeBron James literally walk the ball up from half court to the three-point line? Took 18 steps.
He did that, and he was on the court one time in socks this year.
He was celebrating. Welcome back, everybody. Episode number 14, Season 2, Double Coverage with the McCourty Twins. We're the Twins. J-Mac here, your host.
D-Mac.
Yeah, pretty cool shirt, friends.
Yours is cool,
like
but it's just old looking.
Yeah, anyway, get right
Good
into
shirt,
it.
though.
As you guys know, you can find our podcast on YouTube, on iTunes.
Mama, we made it!
On Spotify. All you have to do is search Double Coverage with the McCourty Twins. And as always, keep up with us on social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. At McCourty Twins is where you will find us. Quick shout out to our partners here at Double Coverage.
Shout them out.
Boston Medical Center and Embrace Kids Foundation. We've come together to tackle sickle cell disease, and you can learn more at tacklesicklecell.org. And of course, our friends over at NormaTec, who are continually helping athletes to recover. They're helping the athletes redefine their potential, helping them to push boundaries and exceed their goals, recover faster, increase circulation, and conquer those sore muscles.
Shout out NormaTec.
And you can do all of this with NormaTec, the ultimate recovery for today's athlete. If you want more information or you want to go purchase one for yourself, just visit NormaTecRecovery.com. Let's get right into it, man.
Get into it.
It's holiday time is approaching. Do you have a favorite Christmas song? This Christmas.
That's one of them. Jackson 5. You really can't go wrong with the Jackson 5 whole Christmas thing, you know.
Talking about Santa?
Yeah, it's all Santa kissing you can't go wrong with all of those. You can't go wrong with
Jingle Bells,
Little Drummer Boy.
Oh, Little Drummer Boy.
Stevie Wonder. You can't.
And you came with classics. You can't prepare. You
when mommy comes up,
the outline.
No, when mommy comes up here, that's how we go.
Yeah, she has come to my house and like, you don't have any Christmas music playing? Like,
that's why she has a lot more fun at
it was
my
almost
house.
that look.
Because we jam. We get a little eggnog. Then you pick your drink of choice and mix with the eggnog.
It was almost like, did I raise you?
Hey,
my kids.
Some people, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
My kids picked the
Some
Christmas
people
song.
live in windy areas, so the apple falls and the wind just blows them so far away.
But depending upon your family,
the tree doesn't even recognize
Depending
you.
upon your family, the further that wind blows your apple, kind of the better you are. So,
if you say so,
to each his own. Before we get into it, rest in peace. Pete Frates dies at the age of 34. From the ALS disease. You guys, if you don't know, played at Boston College, was the originator of, started the Ice Bucket Challenge, which over years was able to raise more than $220 million to go towards ALS. And this is a disease that I've seen kind of up close. Played with a guy, Tim Shaw, linebacker from Penn State, got drafted by the Carolina Panthers. A special teams demon, led the league in special teams a year. He was with Chicago, then came from Chicago.
How many tackles did he have that one year?
I think it was like 30
right? It was
alone on
ridiculous.
special teams. And joined us in Tennessee and played there for 3 years. Moved all the way up to a special teams captain throughout his career there. And I remember his last year there in training camp of him just not feeling like himself and not feeling like he had the same pop and the same juice almost in a sense. And ended up getting released from our team in training camp and was just continuing to try to train throughout the course of that season, and body like one arm feeling stronger, a lot of just complications. And that following April was diagnosed with ALS. And I just remember at that time not knowing much about the disease and obviously feeling bad for a friend and a former teammate. And I could just remember he continued to come around the team, and shout out to Coach Malarkey, who was there at the time, who continued to invite Tim in, had a locker for him right in the locker room. And each time he came in, like, you could just see the disease taking its effect on him, his ability to talk. I remember hearing him speak when we went to visit our team chaplain. He had a gathering, and he said small things like brushing his teeth in the morning, being able to chew his own food, holding his plate, were things that have become very challenging. And man, just a credit to him. Very similar when I hear about Pete Frates' story is Tim was a guy that never felt sorry for himself, had very strong faith, and believed that there was a purpose behind him being diagnosed, and would try to use his platform as well to inspire. So ALS obviously is a terrible, terrible disease, and rest in peace to Pete, and condolences to his family, and hope that they're able to be strong. And I saw the neighborhood he lives in, everybody's hanging his jersey up on their front door, and that just shows the impact while he was living. It's not always how much time you have here, but what you do at that time, and he's made a huge impact that'll go on forever.
Yeah, and I think it speaks volumes. I think we watch athletes. Obviously Pete Frates played at Boston College, Tim Shaw, Penn State, then Chicago Bears and Tennessee. But these two men will be known for what they did after they finished playing their sport. You think about Pete Frates, and you think about everyone wants to be remembered for something, and people always talk about championships and all of that. You can ask people everywhere, who's a starting offensive line on the 1990s Super Bowl champion team. A lot of people can't name that, but you think back now, Pete Frates' name will go down in history for what he did off the field, for the money he raised, for hopefully someday the lives he saved by putting himself second and putting everyone else in front of him and starting the Ice Bucket Challenge. I remember, we did that as a team right here, and just seeing teams across the world do it, to see his legacy probably continue to grow and grow. I'm sure his family and his loved ones are extremely proud of what he was able to do on this earth.
For sure, definitely. And like you're saying, and kind of hinting at, it's about giving back, and it's about getting into the community. And yesterday, Monday night, you were able to host an event at David Yurman, Boston.
Shout out David Yurman.
How was it?
It was awesome. Second year we got to have an event there. I guess we should give a big shout out to my man Ken Martin. Kind of put everything together 2 years ago and then put it back together. And then another big shout out to Rianne. She goes by one name over at David Yurman in Boston.
At the Copley Mall.
To see the amount of people come in there, and so many people came up to us and was like, we love David Yurman. We love buying, the David Yurman product. But we waited until we knew your event was coming so that we can buy, and proceeds would go to tackle sickle cell. And the evening went great. And I would ask you, what was the highlight of the evening?
Oh, that was easy. And I think when you put these events together, it's about the people that you're trying to help and the people you're trying to reach. And I think we were able to see that last night as a young lady by the name of Sawana, in her 30s. We didn't want to say her age.
In my 30s.
But she got up and she spoke about just her life experience of living with the sickle cell disease, of how she was diagnosed when she was 2 years old, was told that her life expectancy was 5. She made it to 5. Your life expectancy is 18. And she's now in her 30s. And
I think it was 5, 10, then 18.
Yeah. And then she's just continuing to just surpass everyone else's expectations and continuing to beat all the odds. And I think when she got up and spoke, and the people that were there in that room, and you're there for a great cause, and you're there, me and you were there, we're taking pictures, signing autographs, and you got the rings on and all that. It's a cool atmosphere. But then when you hear that, it gives you a real life picture of what we're there talking about and what we're attempting to raise money for. So I think,
did you hear what she said? She was like, when I finished speaking, it was like everybody just went to the counters and just started buying more stuff.
And that's what it's all about, and I think people got to see that firsthand, and it opens up your heart. And I think that's what this time of the year is all about, open up our hearts and being able to help other people. And in regards to that, coming up next Monday, I'm going to be doing an event at Target, taking 20 kids to go shopping from the Key program right here. It's in the New England area, but the one closest to here, we're going over to Target.
Can't tell anybody where you at, man. You can't. What you want? Just raid the people there?
That's very true. But we're going over to Target, take a few kids shopping. Should be fun. But
hold on. Monday you're doing that. Then Tuesday I'm going to Bash Pro Shop, and we're also going to take kids shopping, get them winter coats, get them a gift for someone else that they love. Just a great time of year to give back and to see how happy kids get. And every year I get to do this. It's awesome to see. The kids usually get most excited when you tell them, all right, now you're allowed to get a gift for someone else. So.
Yeah, definitely. And a little bit of some local news here. Lawrence, Massachusetts, a few days ago, had somebody reach out to us on Twitter and talked about this Lawrence Pop Warner team who was getting ready to face an opponent that if they won this past Saturday, a week ago Saturday, they beat they
were
have an
headed-
opportunity to head to Disney World and compete for the Nationals. But there was an issue, obviously, financially. That's a tall task. And we were able to donate some funds and be able to help. And Lawrence Pop Warner team got the victory.
in their first game.
They got the victory. They took off to Orlando, played their first game at Disney, and was able to win. What was the score?
33-zip.
33-0. I was kind of upset they beat a New Jersey Pop Warner
Woodbridge,
team.
yeah, they beat the Woodbridge Broncos.
So sorry to hear that, but
It is what it is.
Very excited for this Lawrence Pop Warner team. So shout out to them. They have another game coming up tomorrow on Wednesday. So good luck to them. Hopefully they get another win and they come back to the New England area as national.
And it's awesome to see, like, we're getting pictures of them just hanging out at Disney. They got their team picture. I got to send them a video Saturday morning before the game. So, very happy for those kids. That's a once-in-a-lifetime dream. I remember playing Pop Warner and dreaming and hoping I could go to Disney.
Why we can't go to Disney?
So we never made it to Disney, but Lawrence Pop Warner, you made it to Disney. So you got to bring home a championship back to Titletown. That's only right.
Got to. Second straight loss. This was my first game at Gillette Stadium as a member of the New England Patriots that I didn't come out victorious. So definitely upsetting to lose that game.
It's a good ride. You had a good streak.
You had a very good streak. Like Mommy says, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. But tell me what went wrong?
What stuck out?
Yeah. No, what stuck out? Just from an X's and O's. Give me your.
I thought you were saying officiating stuck out. That's not what you were saying.
That's the next thing I'm going to get into. But I just wanted. I wanted to first.
But that didn't. So that did stick out. But that's just the next thing.
I wanted to do this like step by step. Like,
okay.
Because you know how like when you're growing up and your parents tell you like don't blame nobody else, just worry about you.
No, I wasn't blaming you. I just thought you said what stuck out in the game. Like,
so that's what I want.
What was like when you look at the stream like whoa. I thought that was one of them.
There was a few whoa moments, but
definitely.
Just taught me football.
To me, it was a very competitive game. We're in December, two good football teams, a lot on the line, competed. It was kind of a game of halves. Kansas City jumping out to a 20-3 lead in the first half, which obviously is not good for anybody to be down 23, especially not to Kansas City. But we were able to fight back. Offense put together some good scoring drives, defense getting some turnovers in the game and getting some stops in that second half. So hard-fought game, but like we said last week, this time of the year, you have to find a way to win. Every game is going to be different.
It wasn't 20-3. We scored on our first drive. I'm wrong.
Oh, it's 20-7.
Yeah.
So, like you said, each game is going to be different. Ultimately, to be a good team at this time of year, you have to find a way to win. High scoring, low scoring, turnovers, no turn. Like it could be ugly.
It was exciting to see though how the momentum shifted in that second half. You block a punt, you force a fumble. Offense starts making plays. Jacoby makes a long pass. Just to see the tide turn, it was like we couldn't get as many stops in the first half. Then next thing you know, it's stop after stop after stop. And it was exciting to see us obviously down, going to halftime, come back out, and just continue to fight and claw our way back in the game and give ourselves all the way. The game literally came down to the last play of the game, and we just came up a little bit short. But like you kind of were saying too, I think Tom said that when you play long enough, you have some games where you feel like officiating or the ball, everything just seemed to go your way. And then some games like Sunday night, you felt like it just didn't. And as a player, I think you don't want to sit there and say, well, the officials this, the officials that, because they're humans just like us. None of us go out there on a Sunday and just play a complete perfect game. I think, but you just hate to see it, whereas those plays that are reviewable on their own, where a scoring play, when it's just like, hey, if we call it a touchdown, they got to review it anyway. A turnover, if we call it a turnover and let the play run, well, heck, if it's not, they'll end up bringing it back automatically anyway. So I think that was a very frustrating part of the game. But like you said, we still had chances to win and chances to make plays, and we just came up a little short.
How did it feel to be back? Lem didn't play a lot of plays, but to be back out there, how did it feel?
It felt good. It's obviously a process whenever you're injured and very frustrating. Nobody likes going to treatment and having to do a bunch of rehab on top of the things you do just consistently throughout a week to continue to get your body ready. But it felt really good to be active, to be in uniform, to be out there, whether it's talking on the sideline, the few plays in the game in a limited role. But it felt really good to be out there. So I'm continuing the process of getting all the way back out there. And, as Bill will say, we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's a good one. A good one. So what's your mindset? What do we need to do moving forward? We got to bounce back. Bounce back.
I think Tom said it best after the game.
Okay.
On to Cincinnati, and I think that's
Well, Bill said it originally, but I mean, I see where you're going.
I mean, he coined the term, but I think, like you just said, we have to get back to winning. You have to move forward. You have to focus on. Obviously, you have to look at this game and find out the things that you didn't do right. You want to start faster. You know, we don't want to, like you said, go into halftime down 20-7, and you have to claw your way back into the game. And I think it's going to be a big week for us because
we're back on the road.
We're back on the road, and I think more importantly than that, we're going against a dangerous team. You know, Cincinnati has only won one game this season, but they're playing better football as of late. Got their first win 2 weeks ago, and then you watched them this past week versus the Browns. It was a very competitive, hard-fought division game, and I think at this point for them, you're just trying to spoil other people's season. You know, at this point, obviously the playoffs.
Speaking from experience,
and different things are out of contention. Very much so. I've been in that position where I've finished 2-14, 3-13, and as you come over the latter part of the season, not only are you trying to ruin other people's season, but personally, as you watch guys out there, nobody's going to give up for the fact that you may hate the team, you may hate the coach and ownership and management, but at the end of the day, you are what you put on tape. So when you're on a team and you're not winning a lot of games and you're finishing with a bad record, the one thing that's guaranteed at the end of that season is they're going to blow up the roster. And if you're a guy that's no longer going to be there on that team, you want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward throughout that season, because other coaches, GMs, scouts are watching that film like, well, let's see, did he give up? Was he still hustling in week 15, knowing that they weren't going to get to the places they wanted to get as a team? But personally, was he still competing? Does he love to play the game? So I think you're going to see a team that's going to come out there fired up. They're at home. They have a good opponent coming in. They're a team where a new coach and a new system, and they're trying to build a culture. So they're going to look at this like this is another opportunity for them to grow as a team and get better. And not to mention Andy Dalton's back out there, an experienced, a veteran quarterback that's going to obviously give them the ability to make plays.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we got to just come ready to play. And I remember last year after we lost two games with December, we lost to Miami and Pittsburgh. And Bill talked about games turning into like playoff games. Mm-hmm. You didn't have many games left, and all of the games turned into must wins. And we're at that point in the season. Like, you gotta win. You gotta find a way to win. So we have 3 games left on the schedule. We gotta find a way to win all 3 of those games. And I think that's what we're building as a team. The sense of urgency is high. Anytime you go 2 weeks in a row without winning, and you only have 3 losses in the season, like, we have a lot of losses clumped together. So guys are just, I think, really fiending for that, just week after week winning, getting back to that
feeling.
Yes, of just stringing wins together and stringing good weeks together. So that's a challenge for us this week, and I'm excited going into the week. I love our group of guys. I think they all love to compete, so we got to find a way.
How do you feel? Jets ruled LeVeon Bell out for their game on Saturday, and he is spotted bowling Saturday night after being ruled out.
He was in Jersey too, though. He wasn't even in New York City like at Lucky Strike or Chelsea Pier. He wasn't out there like where you could bowl till 4 a.m.
So if you're a teammate, are you mad?
No, he's at the local bowling alley. He got ruled out.
Ruled out with an illness.
Yeah, he's sick. He got over it. They didn't want to play him because he was out all week. Can't help that. He said it too. He was like, it got blown out of proportion, and he did say he bowled a 251. So I think lost in all of this is Le'Veon Bell, not just a great running back, not just a great receiving running back, but he can bowl 251 out there throwing strikes. He's out there throwing strikes, and his team got the dub. Dub City to me is a win-win all the way. Yeah, and second, I don't want to play in New York. Last week, They listed a bunch of players out at Bounce. Shout out Bounce. I've been to Bounce in New York City. Out at Bounce partying. This week, Le'Veon Bell spotted ball. Like, can these guys live a little bit without? Oh, we saw him here. I'm like, boy, I don't want no part of that. That's rough. These guys can't do anything.
Life of an NFL player. But
can't do anything.
You're going to bowl on a Saturday night. Take your butt to the game on Sunday. That is the lesson at hand. If you're sick,
people miss games every day.
When you used to put that thermometer by the light bulb and tell your mom you had a fever,
I never did that. It doesn't work anymore.
You could not go outside and play that day if you didn't go to school. Raiders getting ready, preparing to play for their final home game.
You know what that is?
In California. Bittersweet.
Bittersweet. That's the O. You didn't watch like Charles Woodson when he used to play for Oakland, and he would throw that up. Crowd would go nuts.
I didn't know what that was.
I mean, you don't know legends. I watch a lot of Charles Woodson films.
I'm like this kind of crazy because I think you look at
For one, that's one of the hardest places to play.
Yes, they said they used to throw batteries at guys. You used to have to keep your helmet.
I mean,
on.
and there were shoulder pads with the spikes on, helmet spike.
The fights that they used to show in the stands, like the poor fans, in Oakland losing their team. I feel like that's one of the historic franchises that when you see NFL
back-to-back
Network,
hits for California too.
Yeah.
San Diego. I know San Diego went to L.A., but I mean, you got San Diego, Oakland, now L.A.
Would you want to be a rookie in Vegas?
It's
a lot of idle time.
Adult playground.
It's a lot of idle time. You go from college where every hour of your day is structured.
Do you make a team rule that no one is allowed on the strip on certain days of the week? Like, let's say Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night.
So that's
Friday
the whole
nights
week.
in between.
But do you ban guys from going to the casino?
You might want to,
and just because of the optics.
And we have to go over the rule of not betting on NFL games.
You have to.
But you're right. I mean, the optics
Josh Shaw rule.
There's really nowhere to go in Vegas. Like, you think about being here in Boston, they just opened Encore Boston. And you might see guys in there time to time. But like Vegas, like almost everywhere on the strip, like you gotta go into the casino. You gotta go into one of the hotels that has a casino floor. So I mean, let's pray for all the men that are going to play for the Vegas that love to gamble.
Sin City.
Because you're not going to be able to get.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
And anybody, if you get out of Vegas, don't look back like Lot's wife. I had to tell Lisa that the other day. Don't look back like Lot's wife.
Who?
Lot. Oh, you got to read that story. Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot, God helped him escape. Don't look back. His wife looked back, turned into sand. Right there. Don't look back when he tells you don't look back.
Good story. Baker Mayfield takes a shot at the trainers in Cleveland in reference to Odell Beckham's sports hernia injury.
He did apologize and say that's not how he wanted it to
Too late.
It's not how he wanted to come off.
It is too late. He already said it.
I will say
Shout out to Joe Sheehan in the training room in Cleveland. Had a good experience with those guys while I was there. Do not know how this injury is being handled and all of that, but at the end of the day, I do not think that's the way to handle it.
Beep,
Maybe
beep, beep, beep,
oh no, he's a great trainer. My bad. It's too late.
Back the bus up over him.
All over him. And I think that's the thing that kind of gets lost sometimes because I think this was Saturday or Sunday, news broke everywhere, and it was just like, Odell Beckham has a sports hernia injury, requires surgery. And like, kudos to him for playing through it. And to be honest,
a lot of guys.
There's so many guys throughout the course of an NFL season that get injured and need surgery and are like, I got X amount of games. Or sometimes it's already August and you don't have time. We only get 16 opportunities a year.
I would tell people, pay attention to how many people get surgery as soon as the season's over. If they get surgery right when the season's over, they needed surgery during the season.
At some point, they played through, and that's just the truth of the matter. So, I mean, kudos to Odell, but at the same time,
shout out all the guys in the league.
So many guys.
Guys play through a lot.
The same thing.
Shout out to all the wives and moms and girlfriends that
put up with us.
Got to put up with these injured babies.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not me though. I'm an Iron Man.
The phrase that you always hear in the NFL is that, like, the shield, NFL, it's a football family. And we always describe it like that. And I kind of was...
fraudulent.
I kind of was upset to read when Chris Smith from the Browns was released. And this was a guy, and I know probably everybody heard this story, that his girlfriend was killed in a car accident. He was on his way. I think she was maybe dropping him off at work, or they were on their way maybe home from somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where they were heading, but they had just recently had a baby girl, and I think
she was 4 weeks.
Daughter was 4 weeks at the time, and something happened to his car, and he's on the side of the road, and in the process of being on the side of the road, a drunk driver drives and ends up hitting his girlfriend and killing her. And to go through something like that during the season and try to combat that and continue to show up to work and play football, it's without a doubt that there's probably going to be some drop in your play.
There's a lot on your mind
and your attention. And so to see, and obviously I don't know like what transpired within the building and all of that between Chris Smith and the Browns. I read somewhere that he didn't ask for a release and it didn't come from him, but I don't know. But it's just from the outside looking in to see that happen. It's just like, dang, like this is a guy going through a lot, grieving at the same time, finding out how he's going to take care of his newborn, and to see him be released, it was just like, dang, it was tough to read that headline. But
I know some people say he got most of his pay, but just to lose the insurance, medical, and just like you just said, being around the guy. So definitely prayers up to him and his little one, and the rest of his family. I'm sure he has a lot of different people holding on to him and elevating him and bringing him up. So obviously a tough situation. Pray for the best. And for him to keep fighting and keeping his dream alive and playing in the league.
Yeah, and I think that's what we talk about when you see guys say that they don't want to be on a team and force trades and force releases and all of that. And at the end of the day, when you say, hey, a guy has to make a decision in the best interest of him and his family, you can never forget what gets lost in this beautiful game that we all play is that it is a business. First and foremost,
that's why it's not a family; it's a business.
The end all,
it's not a family business.
Well, I guess it is. I think I was realizing that, and you kind of get it. You know, you may have a position coach that you have and you've played for many years, and he loves and respects you in the same way. But at the end of the day, you can't forget that any coach in the building, any administration person, is he going to put a player before his wife, before his kids? His wife has a good job. Kids are enjoying school. He doesn't want to move.
Yeah,
so at the end of the day, it's always going to be in the best interest of winning games, whatever that looks like. And I think as fans, as players, sometimes we understand that, but sometimes as the fans looking in, you don't quite get that perspective of it because you just see your favorite team, your favorite players, and you just want to see them win games.
And when they don't win, you get mad. I mean, that's how it goes.
Yeah, but there's more to it, and I think is a respect for each side of it. But
got other bad news.
A future Hall of Famer. Have we seen Vinatieri kick his last kick in the NFL?
I would go out on a limb and say probably so.
Getting ready to undergo season-ending, I believe it's knee surgery. It's
kind of crazy too because he was so good. Obviously, a part of the Super Bowl teams here in New England, and then followed by Steve Gostkowski. Then he moves on to Indy, doesn't miss a beat, goes and wins a Super Bowl over there, and he's still kicking. He's 46 years old.
I saw he said in hindsight he probably should have had the knee surgery before the season. So who knows? Maybe
he might. Yeah.
Maybe once he
especially
had the surgery,
if he wasn't planning on this being his last season anyway, and if he was planning on it being his last season, as we know, a lot of guys who get hurt when they feel like it's a lot, they want to come back.
I remember being at NFLPA meetings and I thought Vinatieri worked for the PA.
Yeah,
that's how old he looked. But shout out to Vinatieri,
great guy,
Hall of Fame, a living legend. Who you got? LSU versus Oklahoma. Who you got?
You got to go LSU.
Who you got? Ohio State versus Clemson.
Ohio State.
Who's winning it all?
LSU.
I
am hoping Oklahoma wins it all.
Dark horse. Clemson wins the whole thing.
Why am I hoping Oklahoma wins it all? Because we will give one of the biggest comeback players of the week to Jalen Hurts. If Oklahoma, I mean, he's borderline, but I mean, like almost borderline for taking it this week.
Can't we give everybody a comeback? I mean, three out of the four quarterbacks had to transfer. So I mean, they all did it.
But
Jalen Hurts
is the only one who led a team to play in the college Final Four and then switch teams and then led that team to the college playoff Final Four. So,
Lawrence is going to lead Clemson to a championship.
If you say so. But bottom line, Jalen Hurts is a baller. But you got to go with Joe Burrow.
Speaking of college,
but he's a beast.
Speaking of college football, Lane Kiffin is at it again.
I saw my man B. Spike said, how did this man keep getting jobs? I mean, but it's not about what you know. It is about who you know. And Lane Kiffin must know a lot of people because Ole Miss welcome your new head coach, Lane Kiffin. He's there to win. He's there to recruit. But what are we going to say if Lane Kiffin goes there and makes Ole Miss a problem in the SEC?
Then you'll say this is why the man keeps getting
because he was winning. He's at FAU, right? Not FIU. He's at FAU. He was winning at FAU.
Same thing.
Nah, FIU was better when I was in college.
FIU. I don't know.
FIU was better when I was in college.
I don't know.
They had T.Y. Hilton, Anthony Gator. They were solid. We beat up on them, though. Just so you know.
Same thing.
That was my
Did you see this? Dante, matter of fact, let's get into some group chat talk. A lot going on in the group chat. Dante Jackson, cornerback for the Carolina Panthers, criticizes the coaching staff. And this is kind of a timing thing. They just fired
Ron Rivera.
Yep, Riverboat Ron. So new staff, new regime coming in. Guys out there taking over. But after the game, he said, first of all, it was 2 bad calls, 2 horrible calls, 2 calls that we didn't call in those situations all week in practice. And he's talking about 2 touchdowns.
So he got hit with a surprise call.
2 touchdowns that were given up. One of them was a 90-something yard touchdown backed up where they went all-out blitz. And he commented on the fact that it left the corners out there on an island. What do you take from this when you see a guy? And I don't follow Carolina closely, but I hadn't seen
He was
headline.
mad.
I hadn't seen a headline like this while Rivera was there as the head coach. Obviously, they're going through some culture changes and all that. What do you take from it when you see a guy come out and
he was mad?
I mean,
he's mad. He speaks his mind. And like you just said, he might be a guy that liked Ron Rivera, liked what he was doing. Maybe didn't like the decision, and now. You know what I mean? I won't even say it's necessarily him not liking the new staff, but he didn't agree with those calls. And Rivera is a defensive-minded coach, so maybe he believed in Rivera's methods and how he called plays and what he wanted from the defensive side, and maybe that's changed a little. So, he's one of their better players. He speaks out, speaks his mind to the media. And I keep saying it. We might not like everything that's said by players, but you got to respect that players are a lot more open to say how they feel and to be vocal with coaching staffs, with the media, with everyone. So it's a different method.
Now, as a player, do you look at that? Like, obviously, you have a game plan. You practice all week. Are there times where calls?
Yeah, every player gets mad about calls they don't like.
Yeah.
Everybody got calls that they wouldn't call in situations. And like we all say, hold on. Like we all say, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, and I think to that effect, coaches a lot of times the same way players. There's been multiple times I've gotten beat in a game, and I'm rewinding in my head and like, I should have did this. Or they were throwing the deep ball. I knew they were going deep. I should have bailed. I should have played off. Or I knew that short route was coming. I should have sat on the route. I think coaches go through the same thing on Monday mornings too. As I knew in that situation they were going to go to. So I think
but it's the same thing because when you do back up and they throw the short route, the coach is like, he knew this was coming. He shouldn't have backed up. So, I mean, it's all the same.
As a player, you're like, I knew this was coming. We shouldn't have called that. So
it's all the same. We all working to try to win.
Yeah, they'll figure out. Did you see LeBron James literally walked the ball up from half court to the 3-point line? Took 18 steps.
He did that, and he was on the court one time in socks this year.
He was celebrating.
He having fun, man.
They can't help that they beating the socks off of people.
He's having fun. He's having fun. If it wasn't for Deron Harmon, they might have won the week this week. But if we give it to them, we won't hear the end of Deron. So they won't get it from me. They balling though.
What do you think of all the rumors where headlines hit? OBJ doesn't want to stay in Cleveland. I feel bad for him, yo. Everything is always a headline around him.
Some people like headlines. How you know he doesn't like the headlines? You don't know him.
But I mean, it's probably true. It's probably
how. Are we surprised he doesn't? I mean, they were supposed to be
his career.
Yeah. So he's not producing the way he has produced since he stepped foot in this league.
His injury's not being handled the way Baker Mayfield likes.
And they're not winning as many games. I mean, there were a good amount of people who picked this team to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they're fighting to still stay alive for the playoffs. And it's an uphill battle. So would we be surprised? No, because I think we found out with him leaving the Giants. Players are trying to take their careers in their own hands. They're trying to control their destiny of where they end up. He's playing with his best friend. He said it. He enjoys that. But we don't know. There might be more out there for OBJ. So we'll see. I think he's under contract. So this isn't like one of those things like, where will he end up? It's will Cleveland want him to be gone or not? So it's one of those things we have to see. Obviously, it's going to stay in the headlines. If they don't make the playoffs, this will be all they talk about. I mean, you'll be asked about this. If we make the playoffs and we're playing, you'll be asked about this. So we'll see how it all works out. But I'm always excited when guys control their destiny. It's cool to watch. What we got cooking? Who you got who lost the weekend? This is who you picked who lost the weekend.
I mean, this was obvious who lost it. Well, he lost the weekend, but he won the bowling. He won the bowling again because I'm pretty sure if he bowled a 250,
LeVeon didn't lose a weekend.
No one else was.
You think he lost the weekend over the Browns? The Browns release Smith. Training staff gets attacked by a player. OBJ says that he wants out from sources. I mean, if that's not a loss of a weekend, I don't know what's a loss of a week. That's a lot of attacks. And don't forget, Myles Garrett's still suspended. Dang. That's a rough weekend.
Le'Veon Bell lost the weekend, but he bowled a good game.
Don't be stubborn and be a fool like this guy. Matt LaFleur, first coach in Packer history to win 10 games in his first season.
I think that would qualify as winning the weekend.
Is there an asterisk because you have Aaron Rodgers or no?
No, because I mean
the guy's a pretty good player.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But shout out Matt LaFleur. That's big. I mean, he kicked our butt last year. Matt LaFleur was in Tennessee, offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Kicked our butt last year. So, hey, I ain't got nothing against you, Matt.
Who you got? NormaTec, comeback of the week.
I mean, this was kind of your thing, but
what do you mean my thing?
You picked this NormaTec.
I don't do this. Come on. What you got?
chose. I like it though. We got comeback player of the week, Ryan Tannehill, and obviously he's been balling. We talked about him on the show, how he stepped in for Mariota and he's balling. And we could have waited until he inked that new deal, but we want to give it to him early. Comeback player of the week, because sources say he is in contract negotiations with Tennessee. So in Miami, written off as a franchise quarterback. In Tennessee, franchise quarterback, eating some of the best barbecue food. He got his NormaTec boots on. I mean, Ryan Tannehill's living good, and he's about to get the big contract, and he's going to be living with some of country music's greats.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Shout out Ryan Tannehill.
Music City.
And we got to give another shout out. My man Tiger Woods pulled up with the NormaTec boots around his shoulder, ready to Tiger Woods, y'all. So shout out Tiger Woods repping that NormaTec.
You don't have any golf game. Before you get into a special announcement that you have to make.
This, Chris.
I want to shout out Bobby Wagner for our More Than an Athlete portion of this show. Bobby Wagner was named the Week 13 NFLPA Community MVP for packing up Thanksgiving meals at a local grocery store and helping deliver them to homeless families in Seattle. And while doing so, spontaneously decided to pick up the tab for all the shoppers who were on site at the store for an hour.
We have two more than athletes because we can't go on without shouting out Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack went to I think it was in Perry something, but back in Florida, went to Wal-Mart, found out the families who had stuff on layaway. It was between 300 to 350 families, and he paid the full layaway tab. Estimated $80,000. Khalil Mack went and paid. And I don't think that's a tax write-off. So he just went and he said, here's $80 out of my pocket.
That's awesome.
Anything you had on layaway, it's yours. So
that's awesome.
Shout out both those guys.
Walmart should match it and put up the next 80,000. Challenge
never.
What you got cooking?
So
before we get out
12 days of Christmas. I've been talking about this for a couple weeks now, and I've decided. We got 3 ways you can win. What should we call these jerseys? You can win double coverage jerseys, 30 and 32, both sent to you. So we will pick 4 winners from these 3 questions. We would pick
12 winners total.
12 winner totals, and we would pick 4 people from each one of these questions.
So you got 3 different ways to win it.
The first way you can win, send a picture of your Christmas tree. You can tweet it to us. You can, I would say tweet it to us. Tweet it to us is the easiest way.
Keep it simple.
Instagram, they got where the picture comes in one thing. Yeah. So tweet it to us at McCourty Twins. Tweet a picture of your Christmas tree.
And hashtag
double coverage.
Thank you.
Hashtag double coverage. 12 days of Christmas with the Max.
That's way too long.
Way too long? All right. 12.
Hashtag double coverage.
Christmas special. Xmas special. We got the holiday spirit. All right, we're back to it. Second way you can win. You can reenact a classic McCourty Twins moment. It could be a pose or a play. It could be us hugging after the AFC Championship. It could be us hugging after the Super Bowl. It could be us jumping in the air. So you pick. But it's got to be both of us. It can't be J-Max playing the Super Bowl. We get it. Good play. And the third way you can win, and probably the best way you can win, All you got to do is go on iTunes, YouTube, whatever you listen to podcasts with.
Mama, we made it.
And subscribe to the podcast. And after you subscribe, hit the screenshot. Send us a screenshot, and we will pick 4 winners from that group. So don't miss out on 12 Days of Christmas. I'll be posting a picture of all of these jerseys soon, so you don't want to miss out. And so you know, your jersey will be there after Christmas. We will not go out and make sure all these jerseys get there on Christmas. I am sorry, we got games to play. But if you jump in and you are selected, you will, I repeat, you will get 2 jerseys. 12 people will get 2 jerseys. And for the first one of the Christmas trees, we're going to ask our kids to pick the trees. So send us the best trees out there.
There you go. Make it happen. 12 Days of Christmas.
And after you win one of these jerseys, I want to see it. Mama, we made it!
And tell your friends about the podcast. Anyway, reminder, you can find us audio version, video version, audios on iTunes, Spotify, video on YouTube. All you have to do is search Double Coverage with the McCourty Twins. Like Dev already alluded to, make sure you subscribe. And before we get out of here, thank you to our partners, Boston Medical Center, Embrace Kids Foundation, and NormaTec Recovery Systems. Appreciate you. See you later.
Christmas is coming. Are you being naughty or nice?